Hello everyone, I'm Amayah, and in this video I'm going to show you 3 ways to generate your stats for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons character. In Dungeons & Dragons, ability scores, and more specifically their modifiers, are the core of a character in the game. The scores determine the modifiers, which are then added to the rolls the players make, determining the success or failure of a character's actions. There are 6 abilities in D&D. Strength, physical ability; dexterity, their agility; constitution, a character's endurance; intelligence, their memory and knowledge; wisdom, their insight and perception; and charisma, the force of their personality. Ability modifiers increase every 2 points that a score increases. So a score of 8 or 9 both have modifiers of -1, 10 and 11 have modifiers of 0, 12 and 13 have +1, and so on and so forth. 10 and 11 are the scores of an average person, and 20 is the highest score a player character can achieve by natural means, and it proves that they are extraordinary within the ability that the 20 is in. With that brief overview of abilities out of the way, let's get into the generation. The first method that I'm using is rolling, specifically with 4 6-sided die. With this method, you drop the lowest result and then add the remaining 3 to get your score. You repeat this process 6 times so you can have a score for each ability. I prefer using this method as it can add more variety to your character. Here I rolled 15, 10, 14, 12, 18, and 13, which is almost above average in every category. Next, you assign a score to each ability, and you usually want your highest ability to be the one related to your class. A wizard, for example, would want high intelligence for their spells, while a barbarian would want high strength and constitution for their mighty rage. For this example, I will be creating a rogue, a stealthy and dexterity-based class. So, the 18 will go to dexterity, 15 in charisma so they can bluff their way out of trouble, 14 in the constitution so they can have higher health, 13 in wisdom, and 12 in intelligence so they can be above average in their mental abilities, and 10 in strength since they can leave the heavy lifting to the barbarian. But these won't be the final ability scores, and we'll come back to them once we use our other 2 methods. The second method is picking from the standard array. The standard array is 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. Like with rolling, you assign the numbers to the abilities that you feel suit your character. In this case, 15 will be dexterity, 14 charisma, 13 constitution, 12 wisdom, 10 intelligence, and 8 strength. Lastly, the method is point buy. Point buy is a bit more complicated than the others, and I defer to use a calculator like the one at chickendinner.com to do the math for me. Each ability score is assigned a cost. 8 is 0, 9 is 1, and that increases by 1 cost value up until 13. Then you have 14, which costs 7, and 15, which costs 9. You can't buy an ability higher than 15 using point buy. You have a pool of 27 points, and you can allocate costs from those points to determine your total ability scores. Here, I did it 15 in dexterity, a 14 in charisma, 12 constitution, 12 wisdom, 11 intelligence, and 8 strength. The last step in generating your ability scores is adding any racial modifiers you may have. The different races in Dungeons & Dragons, humans, dwarves, elves, halfling, and others, all have bonuses to specific abilities. For this rogue, I will make them a stout halfling, which means they increase dexterity by 2 and their constitution by 1. Now that we've added our racial modifiers, here are our final scores and modifiers for each method. I hope this tutorial was helpful in teaching you about ability scores in Dungeons & Dragons.